Ba-da-dum-dum-dum. Hello. Deactivate a camera. Alright. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. That's a guy here. I'm going to be bringing to you probably what I assume was something similar to the ECL. But for what they would call it, for the season of Eternals, we have the House Legion League. We have the scoring phase starting today. We have a lineup of 29 different houses ready to fight it out to decide who is the best in the entire region. One of the most fascinating things that I did learn today is because these now take place on the live server, we get to actually know the associated houses. We have 29 squads taking part in the scoring phase. I do believe that our previous champion, B something something, will have a bypass straight into the knockout phase. So, knockout stage. But anyway, oh, looks like I'm doing a server hop here. We have AHOY, otherwise Ahoy. Well, probably refer to them as Ahoy. They're a JC team. Their relevant house is in Kanji, which I cannot read, unfortunately. VNH is from VN House. Again, it would be lovely to also have the full name for some of these acronyms, or, again, the letters that these things stand for. We have DVD, which is from DI. QAT, which is also from DI. BMO, DI. Again, another kanji name. We have BFK, which is Pantheon from JC. Very interesting. It does look like there are some people trying to take a look at the maps. We do have a lot of White Elk Fort going to be fought out in the first phase. We're going to be watching the OMG versus ECL. Anyway, continuing on, we also have CBL coming back from LA. Does look like they are still active, so we'll get to see them, get those guys again. ECL, otherwise Kutos from JC, does have another, does seem to have ECL. It was one of the top, well, I think they only were qualified as top 8 last season, so there's that. We have, or no, I think they got knocked out early. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. I think they got knocked out either in the middle, somewhere in the middle, either before the 16th or the or after the 16th. So they were either top 16 or top 8. We have the TQT, which is from LA. We have OMG, which is JC Throne. CPM, which is another JC team. Kanji name, not entirely sure. KF, which is DI, kanji name. SVS, which is 7-star from DI. BMP, DI. A lot of DI teams, which is very surprising since, like, looking over the kind of TW things during my Monday stream, did not look like there was much TW action. Does look like a lot of these teams are kind of winding down their TW things, but nevertheless, I do think TW itself is only a very small part of Conqueror's Blade. We have also WLBG, otherwise I'm pretty sure We Love Big Gates, and that's what I believe that we've seen these guys before. They're LA. OPC from LA as well, CE from DI, TNK from GC, MJ from JC, BLK, DI, then we have DOC, otherwise Doc, I'm pretty sure they're just Doc from LA. We have HNB, otherwise Hanabi. We did get to see these guys before, did get knocked out in the scoring phase as well last season. So these guys from JC, by the looks of it. We also have SOAR, which is DI, otherwise SOAR. Probably just going to shorten it to SOAR. DZ from LA, GW from DI, BODS from LA, and we have WAK, which is from JC Ecliptos. Again, I think this will probably be one of the only instances of a second team coming in from the same house. Supposedly. Actually, no, I take that back. There is QAT and BMO, both from the same house. So that's also very interesting. So this is very interesting that we got probably maybe two or three teams that come out from the same house, which is quite unusual, I would say. Normally we do have particular rules to. Well, previously in the CBL, we had rules that would restrict the number of teams coming from a single house. So we have both ECL and WAK coming from JC Ecliptos. Finishing off, we have the last two CCT coming out from LA, and for the first time, probably ever, is Vanguard from SG, otherwise VANG, coming in for our scoring phase. This will be very, very interesting because I kind of want to see how I want to like one of the sad parts is that sometimes SG tournaments are really interesting because they're very, very different from the Asian side. They used to play multiple they used to have multiple uh, tournaments for each of the regions. SG is the region where it's very, very, very unlikely to have a strong showing, and also EF as well. They also have a very weak showing, so there's that happens. But this will be the first time that we'll get to see them fight in kind of like from what I understand, this is kind of like a new format. Probably they'll do away with the CBL. I'm upset that the CBL format is kind of going away, but nevertheless, I do think it is inevitable that, well, probably it's not inevitable. I just think it's really interesting how this is working out. Divided into 4 lots. It says here it's divided into 4 lots, but that's not entirely true, is it? Oh no, they did get divided into 4 lots. There's an extra guy in Group D, so that's very unfortunate. Alright, hi. Cassidy. Cassidy? Cassick. Kitty. From what by the looks of it, there is a ban and pick phase, but it's going to be very interesting. Okay. Map selection and ban and pick phase were already done. Way before, at 6 o'clock. So, I'm not entirely sure what the pick ban will be. Hopefully, when we get inside, we get to see some kind of notification on what the pick bans are. I do think there is, I do think that there should be some record on what the pick bans were. We should be starting shortly. Most of the time I always have, I have drops. I've had drops for at least for 2 years. I don't believe that I didn't have. Oh my goodness. Hang on. I gotta disable. I just realized, I still have automatic ads for these. I need to disable that. Normally when I'm running for tournament, I do manual ads. This way I avoid as much as possible overlap. So there's that. Hopefully everything's running smoothly. It does look like the matches has begun. We should be able to, just theoretically. Can't join just yet. So the replay system takes around about 3 minutes. Again, this is a delay in order to make sure that spectators do not help either of the teams. So there is a 3 minute delay. Does look like we just probably press the join button, enter in the password if there is a password, and we'll get to spectate these battles. So that should be coming soon. Oh, if you're talking about my.com drops, well, I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't have my.com drops. Is the drops for both? Is the drop for both? Probably not. Hiya, cricket, you're in the way. Alright, still hasn't opened. Okay, so it's a combined drop. So it's a combined drop for this period. So that's nice. That's nice. Very nice. So it has started. That's great. Hopefully I get my own drops. It'd be really sad if I don't get my own drops, but like, yeah. Still waiting in order to enter the match. I'm not sure if this is working properly. Maybe try. Oh, there we go. Might be late on this. Oh man, I hope I'm not too late. Let's see. So, obviously, I'm going to be watching the OMG versus the ECL match, and it does look like they literally just started. So, quickly have a look at the unit selection from everyone. I'm also going to take a look at the class selection. Does look like a lot of people are switching around. I'm not entirely sure what the rules are, whether or not there's tires, doctrines, and those kinds of things. But nevertheless, you are allowed to use these is on the live server, so you are using your own armor, you're using your own stats selections, and you're definitely using your own units. So a big question is what both of these teams are going to kind of line up. Does look like OMG is going super heavy on the heavy armor. We got 5 short swords, 4 long swords. Love to see the long swords. 3 mauls. We have 3 mauls coming out from ECL as well. We have pole axes, 3 pole axes, 1 long sword, 1 glaive. We have 3 spears, 1 nodachi. The nodachi is very rare. A pike, a longbow, and a musket. Does look like both sides are using a lot of forte so that is probably going to be a mixture of well, a lot of infantry is probably going to be used in the first half, and especially since we're looking here on White Elk Fort, the new White Elk Fort is going to be kind of interesting to see how teams tackle it. The OMG is attacking first, so they gone up with the heavy lineup. It's going to be a bit difficult for ECL to kind of survive the onslaught, which I think would be the heavy armor. This is going to be very different from CBL because CBL has a lot of standardized stats, and one of the bigger parts I think is is the total stats out of from everyone. If because I believe there is no option to standardize the armor, or whether or not they will standardize the armor. Getting hit by that placement, it's very kind of cool that we get to see some divine crows situated on certain maps. These things are nasty, very nasty, if I do say so. What's also very interesting is the artillery. I think they actually have the ability to use their own artillery, which is... I'm not sure if it's going to be very fair, because, I mean, what if someone brings out a Great Bombard? Yeah. I'm not entirely sure. I think doctrines are disabled. There is an option for doctrine being disabled, but it would be quite quite interesting if doctrines aren't disabled, to see what the teams actually bring for their units. Maybe I could take a look. I do keep these hidden a lot. So one of the things that... Okay, so in spectator mode, does look like they have doctrines on the units. Whether or not they're active, I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, a little tip for you guys. You can see what quality of doctrines. If you got good eyesight, you can actually identify the doctrines equipped onto the units. But I don't like having the unit flags around. Sometimes unit flags give away the position of units that you can't see, particularly when you're looking behind buildings. Well, I mean, like low-rise buildings do give that away. The wall is not going to be defended, which is quite classic for White Elk Fort. No one likes getting hit by the Treb. The Treb is incredibly nasty, especially here on White Elk Fort. But one of the things that is very interesting is the changes to the Treb layout. You can get some pretty great Trebs all the way in here. We got these nasty Trebs on the far angle, able to just slam right into next to the A point. So there's really actually not very many safe spots. And I've seen people actually Treb this stairs and the opposing stairs to kind of win those battles. Does look like OMG takes the supply point in the back. ECL not going for the defense here. A little bit stretched would be true, but this attack angle would probably open up more routes. Probably one of the more difficult things is the defenders have no control over these barricades. The attackers must destroy them in order to open them up. And a really cool one is this one here, which, whoa, looks like someone's already destroyed a section of it, which is normally not... must have destroyed... No, they didn't destroy that one. I would always destroy this stupid Divine Crow. The number of people that just shoot... The number of times I've been hit on this supply point because of that Divine Crow has been quite annoying. So we do see some war rockets. My goodness, these guys are going all out. We have some super long shots. I love this angle attack, but ECL being quite silly in sitting on the supply point like this. They're losing quite high valued units, and again, this artillery phase is quite nasty. As you can see, both sides are using mortars, both sides are using artilleries, and we have, again, it's kind of strange that they would not go straight at that. I think the hero fight should just smack it. I really do need to check back for the rules for these. I am a little bit out of the loop since this kind of sprung up on me, since I wasn't keeping up to date. Do have some bowl boys there. Surprisingly, no one going for John Rima's pike unit here at the middle. Would love to get the pike units off the field. Again, when you kill all the pike units, it is quite difficult to deal with the amount of cavalry coming out from all the teams. Man, I am not doing this correctly. Shift? Yeah, it was shift. OMG finally making a move towards the A point. Right into the Fort Ratio, poking them heavily. We have Stalwarts with the Imperial Shield Guard, Imperial Spear Guard just take a massive hit. Some good old Siphonattis hitting hard with those Falconettis and along with a War Rocket. This is a massacre as OMG try to push in through. Really good setup so far. There was a back attack here. Does look like Daggerrack Lancers are coming in from behind, cleaning up that Chevalier fairly easily, I would say. It does look like most of that unit was kind of split between attacking and getting hit from behind. We've got ECL with the Shield Maiden cleanup. Easily cleans up the backline as they basically just rinsed out those shield formations with fire. And definitely... Oh, wait, no, these were... The Falconettis that were firing were friendly. Really... That's really unfortunate. Again, like... I didn't notice that OMG actually placed their Falconettis up onto this position. They lost them, and they were firing directly straight into their own guys. So it looked like they were getting shot by Falconettis as they were pushing up. OMG, heavy losses. I don't think this is going to... I don't think at all OMG's got a chance right now. That first loss is incredibly difficult to come back from. I don't believe that, I don't believe ECL didn't take any losses, but, according to what I'm looking at here, the difference in losses is massive. Massive. Because, essentially, like, even if ECL did take a couple of losses, they mostly have squads left over, so fresh squad versus fresh squad. According to what I'm looking at for leadership-wise, definitely does look like leadership. There is a leadership bonus because there is no way you can bring in 2 tier 5s along with a tier 4. So definitely people have that bonus leadership. We're going to see a lot of high-tier units, mostly high-tier units. Yeah, no, that's a really good thing. No Treb on the approach as well. Trebbing this section is possible because of these trebs that have been sent over, and especially this one here. That one's very deadly for this backhand section. I also do think that OMG just not situating themselves in a very advantageous position coming around this corner here. They walked straight into death, not really securing this entire lane. Like, this War Rocket coming from where? I saw it fire before, but I don't know where it's shooting from. Did it get destroyed? Maybe. Still have access to Falconettis. Again, not in a great position. Falconettis here on the right-hand side are very gimped. ECL had to be pulled out of position in order for those Falconettis to really be useful. We've got a 2-pronged attack coming in from behind and from the front. The front does seem to be slowly winning, as the back does seem to just die as they're getting shot by point-blank Falconettis. The Flamers finally comes to reinforce this front section, and it does look like we have the Imperial Spear Guard just waltzes in, kills off the remainder of that Fort Ratio. Mixture of Monks and Imperial Spear Guard, probably a deadly combination against the Pike units. It's sad to see, but does look like OMG gets pushed out a second time. The 2-prong attack being ineffective. Ineffective, sorry. Not ineffective. No such thing as ineffective. Does look like ECL is looking for a complete rout as they chase down the remaining heroes. The longsword, the heavy hero usage was not helpful at all, as They were unable to break through ECL's lines. Definitely does seem like that Flamer did most of the work. I don't think... Oh man, I forget the buttons for these. This has changed. This is something else, which I actually don't need to see. Get that red. For Weema! Well, I mean, ECL, you can say that, Duck, but at the present time, they're not losing. White Elk Fort is also kind of one of the new ones. Unfortunately, I have turned off sound. I have turned off those sounds because, well, I mean, I don't want random sounds to be played during the tournament, especially loud ones like that one. So this will be the third and last attack. ECL taking barely any damage, as you can see. Got massive lineups. Still have a majority of their units. I mean, we've got a minute 30 seconds to go. With over a 600 unit disadvantage for OMG. And I'm gonna say this already. It's just OMG's coming in like at weird angles. Like, look at this. They come in through this right-hand wall. Then they walk all the way from this supply down to the front again, and just get slaughtered here on this corner here. They're coming in through this. They're coming in through this hallway. This road. Great. Now they're just getting attacked. And it's a complete wipe as they just get rolled over. We have so much cavalry coming in from behind. There was a massive cavalry battle. I missed it. But this is finally some good strategy. But they're walking straight into a Fortebraccio here. Fortebraccio does get unbraced, strangely enough. But does look like there was not enough reinforcements coming in through and wiping out that Fortebraccio. And Fortebraccio is still heavily on this point. Fortebraccios are great against the cavalry, and it's very difficult to see past all of these ginormous trees. So OMG does get finished up on that section. Another attack. Probably whatever remains. The Flamers have probably been the most difficult thing to deal with for OMG, and I do not think they had much of a chance as long as they did not deal with those Flamers. As you can see, the performance difference is huge. Absolutely massive. Absolutely crushing defeat for OMG. There were some lucky pickups, but just the sheer difference is also quite staggering. We have so many deaths. We have 1, 2, 3 permadeath coming out from OMG, and we have only 1, 2, 3 deaths coming out from ECL. So ECL definitely keeping up the strong performance and definitely not in a bad position to take out OMG for this first day of scoring phase. Does look like I don't think OMG's has got much of a chance here on defense either, considering that on a straight-on battle, ECL does seem to dominate quite heavily, and they actually turn it around and become aggressive. When attacking, one of the most important things is to understand the ebb and flow and know when you have an advantage and know when you're at a disadvantage. OMG does not understand the disadvantages of their attacks, so they are clearly in a worse off position. If they go with a more aggressive defense, they might end up shooting themselves in the foot. If they are static in their defenses, so they're more defensive in their defense, they are probably prey for ECL, who has a tendency to capitalize on their advantages, and it's going to be very difficult for a tiebreaker to come in. I don't believe a tiebreaker will come in, but we're gonna have to wait. Whew, that was the first battle, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching that one. I do think ECL is probably on the much stronger side of teams, considering that they have competed multiple times in the CBL, so we should expect them to do really well. White Oak Fort is a new map that, well, a redone map. It's very rarely we've ever seen the map in CBL as well. So I can say that it is a bit difficult to see the actions with a lot of the overhang kind of covering some of the good camera shots. So I'm gonna get used to that. I'll be back in a few. Gonna run a quick ad. Hopefully we don't miss a thing. Anyway, be right back. Gotta track down some of the rules for these things. Ugh, man. Really hate that. Oh, that's very interesting as well. Siege artillery has been increased to 3 for attacking side, 2 for the defending side. That's a lot of artillery. Oh, okay, no. No ban and pick. There is no unit ban and pick. The map selection, you can choose maps between. Okay, so that any squad that is 3 minutes more late will have their rights waived. You know, I'm gonna just say this right now. The reward for the exclusive champion doctrine, I personally don't like. I'm gonna rant just a little bit here, but I just hope, maybe I'll leave it for another time actually. But I think the exclusivity of this doctrine having an impact on the live server is something I disagree with. So I can't explain my point some other time. I'll probably save that for on Monday, where I usually stream Conqueror's Blade. But right now, we're going to be waiting on the start of the next match. There is time. There does seem to be a long wait time between matches, so it does look like. Oh, no, there we go. OMG versus ECL has started. So we have to wait about 3 minutes before we can go into the spectator mode. Or we'll be able to see the spectator mode. So there has been changes for... There have been changes for the rules, which is quite interesting. Um, two of the things that I think is going to be very important is the armor rule. Since it is on the live server, most of the armor should be the new reforged, which people who have good rolls will have a significantly bigger advantage against people who have lower rolls. I am not sure if doctrines are disabled for this. It doesn't look like it is, and it does look like doctrines are available for units. So how you set up your unit is very important here, and especially since it will become a big disadvantage if you don't have a very good lineup of doctrines. But I mean, I will ask for clarification on the rules for whether or not doctrines are disabled. Does look like attires are not disabled, so I don't think that there is. I don't think they're disabled, but we should be able to observe. No, not just yet. So waiting for another 30 seconds maybe before we can start the second battle for OMG versus ECL. I do hope you guys enjoy the commentary. I do think this is going to be a very more one-sided battle as we move forward. Officially, it is the House Legion League. I'm not entirely sure if it is a version of CBL. I think it's going to be a version of CBL moving forward. I do think CBL as the running name will be closed, so we will no longer have CBL. It will be called the House Legion League. So that is unfortunate. I do think CBL could have continued. Well, as the name goes, as far as the name goes. Well, this is not good. Can I not view the match? Ah, yeah. I can't view anything. Okay, so that's not good. So it does look like the spectating system might not be that guaranteed. We did get a good run for the first one. Does look like we're going to have some technical difficulties here for the second one. I'll try my best in order to try to do whatever I can in order to view these matches for you guys, but at the current pace, I'm not sure what I can do besides try and try again. It does look like I don't have an opportunity to spectate the game. I don't have the option to spectate, which is unfortunate, very unfortunate. The option to spectate just disappears sometimes, which is super annoying. Who is live on Twitch? You can't even see that, though. That's unfortunate. Ah, man. Ah, man. I don't know, man. Can't spectate anymore. The server must be... The server must be freaking out. I'm sorry, folks. Does look like I'm not unable to spectate the second match. I'm not entirely sure. They're checking the issue live, which is very infuriating. Oh, man. Alright. I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit and see if I'm going to hijack someone else's stream to see if they got in. Nah, he can't see it either. Damn it. I was so hoping he could see it. No one can see the ECL match. No one can see any match right now. This is a travesty. Absolute travesty. Unfortunately, the matches will keep going. I think they're just looking out. I think they're just looking for the issue right now. Which, again, just can't really do much about that. I mean, I'd love for them to just allow me to. The system. Okay, so like, there's a lot of people who wants to stream and be casters, but there's just not very many. What's the issue? We can't spectate anything. You see, the observer system is bugged. Like, right now there should be a third button where it says observe, where it's observed. But because it only appears on occasion, I think they disabled it live. So I'm not entirely sure. Matches, right now we don't go into matches and observe from inside in a spectator seat. So they're relying on this new system where we can observe observe matches without joining the match itself. But the thing is that sometimes it just doesn't work. And this is the second time that they've had massive issues with it. So definitely think this live testing is very unfortunate, for one. And we are missing, like, basically everything right now. I don't think there's anyone that can see any of the matches right now. I'll be honest. I'm kind of checking the streams right now, and I don't think anyone can observe right now. Yeah, no one can observe the matches right now.